Hey, this is Jonas, and this week I wanted to make a really exciting indie game devlog. The only issue, nothing exciting happened at all, but hey, at the very least that allows me to paint a realistic picture. This is how being an indie game developer really looks like sometimes. Hope you enjoy. My days usually start out quite productive. I usually tend to get working right away in the morning. I was working on Islanders because we wanted to get the Islanders update out this week, and I was honestly hoping that I would have some time for Will You Snail as well. I didn't. Once Paul and Freeman are here, we'll just have a quick call. Here we go. Now my first task is to have a look at the Steam discussions. Sometimes whenever I encounter a bug in these discussions, I just screenshot it and put it in here as a screenshot. That saves me some typing, and then I can discuss it with the rest of the team next time. Can we readjust the goldmine size? What's wrong with the goldmine size? That is strange. Why doesn't it fit there? Guess we can be a little more generous with the collider size of that. Very well. Thanks for letting us know. I made the placement requirements for the goldmine a bit more liberal. Will be coming with the next patch. Alright, so now I can move on to my other to-dos. Invert mouse wheel on Mac and Linux. That should be an easy thing to do. Let's do it. Surprisingly often game development is not about being creative, not about inventing new stuff, and not about coming up with new ideas. Oftentimes you just need to work your way through a bunch of bugs, through a bunch of new features, things that need to be implemented. A pile of tedious work basically, but don't worry, that can still be very fun and challenging, of course. Okay, already got a lot of small tasks done. Now I have an idea for reworking the camera movement of Islanders a little bit. Like, it's very nice and smooth, but maybe a little too smooth at times. If we disable the smoothing altogether, it doesn't really look nice either. So I feel like it should be a mixture between that, where you have very direct control, but then when you release the drag button, it keeps moving for a little bit. Why should you get dressed? Why? What's the purpose? After a good 8 or 9 hours of work, I decided to call it a day and go for a run. I didn't manage to finish the camera movement rework, and unfortunately I also didn't find the time to work on Will You Snail, which is something I really wanted to do. I'm just really surprised by how much work Islanders still is even after launch. And of course I have absolutely no reason to complain. The launch went absolutely great, people loved the game, and we obviously wanted to keep working on it, otherwise we wouldn't have done it. Here you can see the new Sandbox Mode in action, for example. Quite fun, it's very, very fun. In case you haven't bought Islanders yet, I'll put the link in the description for you. It's a great way to support the channel, and you get a cool game on top of that. What else do you want? I'm getting up a little bit earlier today because there's still so much more Islander stuff to be done, and we wanna push out the update today. Let's get going! Once again, it's already very nice outside. That's obviously something you could consider a slight downside of game development, that you have to stare into a screen all of the time. Sometimes I wish I had a job where I would be in the garden or outside all of the time. Sometimes. Not always. This really is a surprisingly average week of game development for me. I want to do some Will You Snail stuff, but there's too much Islander stuff to do, so I can't do any Will You Snail stuff. Took you long enough. Wanted to make a cool Will You Snail devlog. Wenn es so nicht passt, dann würde ich auch einfach instant zurückgehen zu dem, wie es davor war. It is 11 AM now, and we've got everything in the game that we want to have in the game. Unfortunately, I had to revert the camera movement changes because they were bugged on Freeman's PC. When editing this, honestly, this is one of the moments where I realized that I'm really privileged, I'm really, really lucky. I can keep living in this really nice house, the house I grew up in. My dad chilling in the background there, some tasty food that I grabbed from an imbiss nearby. I'm not sure how or why I deserve all of this. I probably don't. I just hope that over the course of my life I'll be able to make up for it. Give something back. Okay, here you can see the new Sandbox Mode. Actually, this is the first time that I'm really taking the time to play this mode, so let's see if everything works. Sometimes I wonder if I really do humankind any favors by making even more games. Do we really need more games? Or are there maybe more important things we should be focusing on? You're not getting an answer on that from me. I'd like to be carefully optimistic, but honestly I don't know. Okay, now one very important thing we always test when we release a new version is if the save files of the old versions can still be loaded, because of course would be pretty dumb if all of the old save files couldn't be loaded again. So what I have here is an old save file, all of the old save file data, and I'll just paste that into the entirely wrong folder. The folder I need to paste that into is here. Can it still be loaded? Please, please, please. Oh no, that is not what I wanted to see. Here I have a couple of screenshots of how it's supposed to look like. Actually, the color is not that big of a deal, but there should definitely not be any flying objects. There should be a beach down here, and there should be a bridge here where the flying huts are. Not the same island, the bridge is in a completely different spot. Can we even publish the update? This does not look like an easy fix. just a different island. What the hell? Oh no. Now I can finally do some Will You Snail stuff! Which exciting things will we do? An exciting boss fight perhaps? Or will it be paperwork? I have to set up a new legal entity. I can't use Grizzly Games for Will You Snail, so paperwork it is! Yay! No. Later on in that day I still managed to fix the save load bug. Was a little bit of a long day, but at the very least in the end everything was working again. Good morning! Founding the actual company was very easy. But then everything concerning taxes suddenly gets super complicated. Just tons and tons of stuff to fill out here. Like, when will it ever end? What is this? No. I'm gonna be busy with this for a while. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now exporting the game. Let's do another... Did you build the game? No. I thought so. Okay, so here I have all of the game files. Windows, Linux, and now we'll upload that to Steam with the weird Steam tools, downloading an update, and then I'll probably not show the rest of the upload process. So I'm getting the update that I just uploaded. Okay, so far so good. Perhaps there should be a temple in the back here, or on the mountain, that'd be cool as well. Well, how do people get up there? I have no idea. Okay, but it's working. Now what I've got to test if the old save files are still loading properly. Hell yeah, that's looking good. Hell yeah, very nice. Freaking awesome. Let's go. Woo! Publishing the Islanders update was definitely the highlight of my week. The most exciting thing that happened. It's so cool to see the first comments rolling in, and it's really heartwarming to see that people actually care about this game. I never expected this to happen, and it still happened. So for all of those who are just getting started with game development, let me tell you, with a little bit of optimism and patience, everything will work out just fine. Except for the things that don't. Okay, this here seems to be the issue some people have on Linux. No. Weird purple triangle. Just no. Oh well, I guess I'll spend the rest of the day fixing some weird bugs here. No. Not everything works out right away, but what makes things work in the long run is patience and persistency. Because as you could see in my 3 days of work here, game development isn't always glorious, it's not always creative. That makes it very hard to push through sometimes. And then there's still the question, is it even all worth it? Making games is a constant struggle, so know what you're getting yourself into. This is not a motivational speech. This is a warning!